Hey everybody, I'm a little bit late today, but that's okay. Today's surrender scripture writing verse is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 2. And it says that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh for the lusts of men, but for the will of God. And you can see it in my Bible here and in my card. And then I also wrote, in surrender to Christ, I long for fleshly lusts less and less, the more I seek his will instead of my own. So I wanted to put the larger context here before I flip it. Peter says, therefore, since Christ suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves also with the same mind. For he who has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh for the lusts of men, but for the will of God. For we have spent enough of our past lifetime in doing the will of the Gentiles. Sorry if I moved. When we walked in lewdness, lusts, drunkenness, revelries, drinking parties, and abominable idolatries. So I wanted to put that into perspective for a minute with the rest of just that one section. So it's pretty much just chapter 4, 1 through 3. Okay. So for me, this makes sense like this. When we seek that relationship with Jesus and go through the process of surrendering to him, we surrender our will to his. And that's sometimes really hard, even for those of us who've been Christians for a long time. But what happens is that, at least for me, I don't want to participate and walk in lewdness, lusts, drunkenness, revelries, drinking parties, and abominable idolatries. So, I mean, these are extreme, right? When we read those words at face value, they're pretty extreme. And I would say some of us, that's the case, right? So it's hard. It could be eating, right? It could be drinking. It could be drugs. It could be sex, right? It could be all of those things. But sometimes it's like the little things, right? That is in our flesh and, our pride and our ego. But this is your life and this is your decision. But we want these less and less the more we seek the will of God. Then his will kind of becomes our will, right? Because we've given ourselves over to him. And that's kind of how I see it. We trade in the lusts of men, our idols, our self, our lusts, and we replace these things and actions with the will of God instead. So that is how I'm taking this verse. But I'll talk to you later. Bye.